Hi, this is Jen Kitzmiller with the National Weather Service in Missoula, and I'm bringing you your recorded weather briefing from Thursday, September 4th. So just a quick look at the weather matrix. Here on Friday, mainly still just dealing with the lingering effects of some heat and some dry conditions. However, you'll see as we get in towards the weekend, and especially towards Sunday, Monday, we're going to be transitioning to more of a thunderstorm pattern. Here's our current satellite imagery. The region is still under high pressure, but we've got a backdoor front coming down out of Canada. That's kind of concentrating the smoke here in western Montana, and eventually that smoke is going to be moving into central Idaho as we pick up more northeast east winds. So air quality is going to be a concern here going into the next 2 days or so. Here I have a look at the smoke forecast. You can see the time here at the top. I'll let this run through a few times, but basically you'll just see the smoke kind of shifting from western Montana and more focusing through north central Idaho, especially as we get into Friday. We'll let this roll through one more time. These darker colors are showing thicker concentrations of smoke. So again, it really starts to pick up and maybe worsen in north central Idaho, but possibly improve a bit over most of western Montana by Friday. Moving forward, we are going to be looking at that high pressure system weakening. There's maybe a brief increase in temperatures as we get towards the Saturday timeframe, but overall, as we trend towards the latter half of the weekend and into next week, we are expecting temperatures generally to trend down. Here's a look at the humidity trends. Again, fairly dry going into the first part of the weekend, but as we get into Sunday and especially Monday, Tuesday, we're going to start seeing a bit of a pattern change, and those RHs will be coming up. Here's the wind gust forecast. Today we've got those strong north to northeast winds, especially across western Montana. That wind direction will still pretty much be in place on Friday, but it should overall be weaker. And then really not a lot of wind in the forecast going through early next week. I will draw your attention, this is the chance of precipitation going forward. As we get into Saturday afternoon, maybe some thunderstorms starting to show up in our southern areas. So we're talking Idaho, Clearwater County, maybe into southwest Montana. Those chances are going to extend further north with time. So by Sunday, most of the area, most all of north central Idaho, western Montana will have potential for thunderstorms. And then that chance ticks up a bit more as we get into Monday. We are going to be seeing a transition, and some of our forecast models are starting to show potential for some widespread rain and a bigger pattern change by mid next week. I'll get to that in a minute. First, talking about the thunderstorm potential this weekend. This bubble shows where the main threat is on Saturday, really south of Missoula. There will be enough moisture in the atmosphere that we could see some heavy rain with localized storms. Gusty winds will also be a concern with any storms that develop. This is mainly for Saturday. As we get into Sunday, again, pretty much all of north central Idaho and western Montana will have potential to see thunderstorms. Now, talking about that pattern change, this is still out there about a week away, so keep that in mind. But there is growing confidence that we're going to have a pattern change towards cooler and wetter weather. Right now, confidence is pretty high that we're going to go cooler to maybe even much cooler, with potential to see even some below normal temperatures by mid to late next week. We're calling that high confidence about 70%. Similar confidence for chances of precipitation, at least in terms of seeing a wetting rain. The one area that we're not as confident in wetting rain is across far southwest Montana. But there's lower confidence in a widespread significant precipitation event, though we are starting to see more and more models showing that potential. This graphic is showing kind of the spread in model groupings or clusters. You can see the main cluster right now is favoring northwest Montana with wetting rains elsewhere other than southwest Montana, but not a huge significant event. Whereas if you look at this cluster down here, it's showing a really big precipitation event. So the potential is there for a good precipitation event area wide, but that's lower confidence right now. So something we'll be watching as we move forward. That's all I have for today. I forgot to update the date here, but our next briefing will be this Sunday. In the meantime, feel free to give us a call if you have any questions or concerns.